Hi, fashion dolls. I am back. I am back. I am back. Did y'all miss me? It is Thankful Thursday, May 29th, and welcome to another new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a singer born and raised in the Philadelphia area, and I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse with me. And he was recommended through one of my guests who he is good friends and colleagues with, all in the circle. Shout outs to Ira Watkins, who recommended this amazing artist to me, another amazing artist. It feels so great to be back. So without further ado, let's welcome Malik Long, or Dapper Cool, here to the Dollhouse Fashion Dolls. It feels so great that y'all missed me because I had shows scheduled for this week, but we had to change things up a little bit because it was so much going on. But it feels great to be back. As you can see, green and in color. I've never left. So, without further ado, let's welcome to the Dollhouse Fashion Dolls, Dapper Cool or Malik Long. I told him I was going to send him live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 welcome as you come in. No doubt. Yes, he is on the way, Fashion Dolls. And without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest here to the Dollhouse, Malik Long or Dapper Cool. Oh, Ira, are you also joining or did you just...
Hey, what's going on? Can you
There we
hear me?
are. What were you saying? I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Thank you, thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. So before we kick off this conversation, how has 2025 been for you so far?
Um, welcome. Yes. Mhm.
You were saying something? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I'm hearing myself talk. I'm hearing myself talk.
Wait a minute. Let me try something. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. I was here. I was hearing myself. Oh, let me jump back on and get back, come back on because
Jump off
I'm
and
still
then,
hearing I'm still hearing me talk.
okay. Try to jump off and then come back in and then
Okay.
we'll get it right. In the meantime, between time, ladies and gentlemen, Ira Watkins, let me add Ira.
Hey, see what's going on?
Hello, hello. How are you?
What's
Happy
up?
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. I'm just coming down, getting over a little cold. You know what I mean? Had a long weekend.
Oh, yes, it's the
Yeah.
type of weather we've been getting nothing but rain down here and a lot of
Oh yeah.
storms. So y'all make sure that y'all are staying on top of everything. Y'all are coming in. I missed y'all too.
Oh
Those
yeah,
three
yeah.
days that I've
Yeah,
been gone have been great.
yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna come in and say hey and let you know that it's my pleasure. You know that referring to my man Dapper Cool, my family. Shout out to my MDM family. You know, and it was meant for them to be on there. You know what I mean? So definitely my honor to do that.
Yes, and we have Datification coming on tomorrow and Ronson Hawkins. So it's going to be a double show. So you're getting two guests on a Friday.
Hey,
Let's see
hey.
if it'll work now.
What's going on?
For sure.
Oh, y'all.
What up? What up, bro?
What's going on, man? How you?
No doubt, man. I ain't coming here to be on your show, man. I'll let you do your thug thizzle, man. I just want to come in and let her know that it's my honor to make sure you get on the show, man. UND Datification, MDMA all day.
MDMA all day. Shout out to Nissa. What's going on, honey?
What's up, Lissa?
Yes.
What's up, Lissa?
Yes.
So
Thank you for
yeah, man.
having me.
I'm gonna let you go ahead do your thing, man. I just want to come in, show love, man. Go ahead, do your thing,
Thank
man. Hold it
you.
down.
Thank you. Will do, good brother. Will do.
For sure,
Yes,
man. Y'all be
sir.
easy.
You too.
All right, Fashion Dolls, ladies and gentlemen, Ira Watkins. Please make sure you guys go and check out our interview as well too. Great conversation. Joining me today also we have Malik Long, Dapper Cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Welcome to the Dollhouse. Happy Thursday.
Thank you, thank you. Happy Thursday. Thank you for having me. Pleasure's all mine.
Yes, yes, yes. So before we kick off this interview, how has 2025 been for you so far?
So far, so good. No complaints. No complaints.
Yes, 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 yes. You got to single out. Call me and we'll get into that. But I like to start at the beginning of your story. Now, you were born and raised in Pittsburgh, PA. So tell us a little bit about that, your upbringing. Tell us how
A-
many siblings, how
Actually,
many brothers and sisters.
actually, I was born and raised in Philly, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
Oh, okay.
and yes, yes, and all my brothers and sisters were born there. I'm the baby brother of the bunch. All my brothers and sisters are scattered out. Some are down south, some are in Jersey, some are in Philly. So yeah, we everywhere. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. So you grew an interest in music through listening some of the artists of Motown. So who were some of those artists that have influenced you in your music career?
Of course, Smokey Robinson, The
Mm.
Temptations, Marvin Gaye. I thank my mom for that because every weekend when she's cleaning on Saturdays, every weekend she always blasts Motown, the sound of Philadelphia, the 60s, 70s R&B,
Oh yeah.
and I just fell in love. I just fell in love with that type of R&B. Still listen to it to this day. The Temptations, the Stylistics, the Delphonics, the Supremes, the Martha Reeve and Vandellas, the list goes on and on and on, Yes.
Yes, yes. So for you, when did you begin writing? At what age would you say that you began writing?
I began writing around when I was like 22, 23, 23, 24 years old. That was back in 2007, I believe. Yeah, 2007, 2006 or 7. Yes. Back in Philly, yes.
And this is what I love about you. And I told Ira this when we did our conversation, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it, is that you are a living testament. It's never too late to go after your dreams and your
Hmm.
passions.
Hmm.
So you said 22 years old. A lot of people start off in the business at a very young age, writing music, crafting, and what we call honing in on their craft is key
Hmm.
and important. So you grew up singing along in the choir as well too. A lot of big artists start off in the choir. So what was that experience like? You growing up in the choir and then branching off and doing your own thing?
It was a great experience. It was a great experience. I was in the choir in the fourth and fifth grade. When I entered middle school and high school, I took a break from it. But um, when I graduated, I start back up, want to do music again. So therefore, in the early 2000s, I started taking vocal lessons, and I've been taking vocal lessons ever since. Yes.
And
So
you hone that craft. That's called perfecting and honing that craft. And that is something that you've done. And
yes, yes.
oh my goodness, some of your favorite artists are the Queen of Soul,
Hmm.
my favorite Aretha Franklin.
Hmm.
You love New Edition, and I can tell a lot of these artists has influenced your music, especially with the
Yes.
single that it's out right now, which we'll get into. But if you could do a Mount Rushmore of your top five male vocalists,
Ooh.
and then if you could do one on the top five female vocalists, who would you include in your Mount Rushmore?
Top five Mount Rushmore men and woman vocalists. Hey, what's going on, sir? Um, let's see. For the top five men vocalists, Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass,
Ooh,
Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, Michael Jackson. And on the woman's side, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, Chaka Khan, Tina Turner, and Donna Summer.
now it's funny you mentioned Patty and Shaka. They are on tour right now currently, the Queen's tour, and Patty
Yes.
just celebrated her 81st birthday.
Hmm.
So happy
Yes.
belated to Miss Patty LaBelle. Like she is the godmother of soul. That's what they call her.
Yes.
So I mean, You guys can see all four women on tour. You got Stephanie Mills, Shaka Khan, Gladys Knight, and Patti LaBelle. So y'all make sure y'all go and check that tour out. It is lit. The ladies are absolutely killing it on the tour. So
Hmm.
definitely.
Yes.
Now, what is it about these artists, these amazing artists that you named? What is it about it, presence wise, that you can relate to as a performer?
They just knew how. They just had stage presence, and they had classic albums. They had classic songs. Um, excuse me. Sorry about that. Their songs and albums stands the test of time, and I studied them. Especially Smokey. Like, excuse me, got a tickle in my throat. Ira Soul, shout out to Ira. Appreciate you, Ira. Every time I sing, he always say I sound like Smokey Robinson. That's one of my vocal influences. Him and Ralph Tresvant, the lead singer frontman for New Edition.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, just the things that I mentioned, their albums and their stage presence and how they entertain the crowd, and they just knew how to rock the show every time they perform on stage. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Roman. Welcome, welcome, welcome as you coming in. Shout outs to everybody. Love Smokey. Yes, Smokey
That's me too.
Robinson, the whole Motown era. When we think about Motown, you can't help but think about the Temptations,
Oh yeah.
Diana Ross, the Supremes. You had the Marvelettes. You had so many. Like the era of Motown was what my father taught me. I'm a 90s baby. Look at me. I'm telling my age. So I was born in the 90s when,
Hmm.
Jodeci, Tony
Yes.
Braxton,
Yes.
Brownstone,
Yes.
TLC, and En
Well,
Vogue, and
yeah.
all of these amazing artists
Yes.
bursted.
Yes.
And then it just took a liking to its
Yeah.
own. Now, this is
One.
the big heavy question I wanted to ask you. They say
Mhm.
that R&B is dead. How do you feel about the next generation of R&B artists that are coming out currently right now?
I got faith. I got faith in R&B. I love it. There's some great R&B acts in nationwide and locally. Our Soul is one of them. An artist
Oh
by
yeah.
the name of Landon Thompson, Landon Thomas, Lissa. You know, um, there's a couple of great R&B vocalists here in the city of Pittsburgh where I'm at, and also nationwide. I still have faith in R&B. I still have faith in R&B. I'm a huge R&B cat. Anybody will tell you when I go up on that stage and sing one of my singles, I always dress in a suit and tie. That's my presentation. I put a stat on Facebook saying that you know, artists like Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson and Lou Rawls and Keith Washington influenced me how I present myself on stage because they was rocking the three-piece suits with the butterfly collar and the bow tie or the tie or the hat. And I'm trying to do my best to emulate that. So yes.
And I could go on. As for you as a man, there are so many male artists out here who will come out on stage and just dressed in their best. And me and
Hmm.
Ira talked about this in our last conversation. You know who I'm about to say? Luther Vandross is
Oh
one
yeah,
of
Luther
those men.
Vandross.
Another one of
Yes.
those men would be Johnny Gill. Another one of those men I would say would have to be Freddie Jackson.
Yeah,
It's
Freddie
so
Jackson.
many
And all
that came and presented themselves. Go ahead,
and
Troy.
also and also Alexander O'Neal.
Oh yeah.
Billy Ocean,
Mm.
though they were '80s R&B artists, but I listened to them too. So yeah, they came out with the suits and ties, especially Alexander O'Neal and Freddie Jackson. They always wear their suits, and I took my cues from them, those artists as well, because they always look sharp and dressed to the nines, and I want to continue on doing that in my presentation when I'm on stage.
Now I'm gonna read Roman's comments. Martha and the Vandellas, definitely. The Four Tops was at Motown.
Yes,
I'm
yes, yes.
assuming
Yeah,
yes,
they
yes
were.
they were.
Yes, yep.
And let me see what else we were talking about. Is R&B dead? R&B has changed. The vocals transitioned from church
The
voices to
Whispers.
smooth neo soul types of voices. And you
Mm.
know who you made me think about when you said that, Roman? Uh, Kelly Price. When
Yeah.
she was doing background for Mariah Carey, she said that Mariah taught her to get into her airy tones, whereas you would see Kelly Price sing, and it's like you gut punching somebody. It's like a growl. It's very churchy. And who else was capable of doing that? I could go all the way back further.
Mm-hmm.
Who had a voice that could just touch you? That was just like, okay, how can I say it? It was powerful. It filled the room. Mahalia Jackson. Mahalia
Yes.
Jackson had the same kind of effect. The same for Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland is like you, in a way, you gut puncher. When you grew up in the church, that's all you know is to sing from your gut to make
Mm-hmm.
people feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But Mariah Carey taught her to get into her softer
Okay.
tones. So it's very airy because
Mm-hmm.
it was almost in a way, it's not whispery, but it's more so soprano. Very it's up here because Mariah back in the day would sing and still does. Still able
Mm-hmm.
to go up here to those octaves. Another one
Mm-hmm.
is Shantae Moore, where it's very whispery. Patti LaBelle is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Those notes, they're able to go up there in the F6 range. So that's something that was taught to her. Now let me read
Right.
some more of you guys' comments. Oh
I
my
know someone
goodness.
said the Whispers and Always Suited and Booted. Yes, the Whispers. You know, Patti LaBelle. You know, yes, yes, another powerhouse vocalist. I also like to add Kiki Wyatt. You know,
Uh,
yeah,
again,
she's.
that church feeling
Mhm.
that Roman just mentioned. That
Mhm.
church feeling.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yes,
The
those are.
Whispers, always
Mhm.
suited and booted.
Yes.
Tit for tat said my mother dated one of the Isley brothers.
Oh,
Ah,
really?
before she married my father. Now I'm telling my age.
Wow. That's another group, great group that had classic songs. Yes, the Isley Brothers, all that. Yes, yes, classic.
Now, speaking of classics, you got a single out, and Ira just dropped it in the comments. The single is called Call Me.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to it, love the single. He said, it's my cut. Y'all got to see the movie after the call. He does his thing, and that is from Ira.
Yes, yes, yes. Call me.
Go ahead.
Call me
I'm
is.
sorry.
Oh no, no, you fine. Call me is. I would consider that my signature song. You know, this is one of my go-to songs. I got a lot of great reviews of it. You know, it's definitely it's a song that's it's old school R&B with a modern twist, you know, type of songs, you know. It's those type of songs that you can listen to like Quiet Storm or, you know, or you chilling with your lady, chilling with your man type of songs. Yes. So it's definitely one of my favorite songs that I like to perform and I'm very proud of that song. Most definitely. Yes.
For you, when you're writing a song as an artist, when you're
Hmm.
sitting in your space and in your element, it is key to find topics that people can relate to it. And us, the listeners, the consumers, will take this in. And I told Ira this in our interview. I
Hmm.
said musicians have a way of healing people.
Oh
We
yeah,
know doctors.
absolutely.
Doctors can heal people too. But musicians
Absolutely.
in a way are like doctors because you
Hmm.
are administering people. You're administering medicine to the soul. And your
Hmm.
songs is personable to us because we can relate to it in some sort of way or might have been through a similar situation.
Hmm.
But for you, from a writing place, from a writing experience, where do you pull that inspiration from to write about
Um,
romance, to write about love?
just listen to songs of yesteryear, you know, songs, you know, classic songs like, um, give an example, Smokey Robinson, Cruising, or Being With You, or Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, you know, I draw inspirations for those type of songs, you know, those are the songs that you know, was raised on thanks to my mom, you know, those type of songs, and I want to try to emulate that vibe when it comes to writing love songs, and I feel like, in my opinion, I could be wrong, you know, just I may be in the minority. I just feel like there's not a lot of love songs no more on the radio. I could be wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like love songs are non-existent, or maybe that's because I don't listen to the radio all like that, you know. But that's just my opinion. You know, like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, but I just feel like there's not a lot of love songs on the radio. You know, not a lot of ballads because there was a lot of ballads back in the 70s
Oh
and the
yeah,
80s and the 90s and also in the early 2000s. But as today, there they're somewhat non-existent, and I don't know why. Don't know why. So,
Well, I love what Roman just said. K. Michelle and
oh yeah,
Tamar are
yeah,
artists
Tamar.
that today to give you an R&B feel. Another artist that I would say that is capable of doing that would have to be Coco Jones.
Oh
Another
yeah,
one
Coco
would be
Jones. Yes.
Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh yeah, Jasmine.
They're able to
Yeah.
give you that feeling of a ballad.
Hmm.
Melanie Fiona
Oh yeah.
is known for giving ballads as well too. And I feel like these are artists who are underrated, who don't get their credit or just due, as far
Right.
as the Melanie Fionas and the others. But you can get that same feeling of a ballad. But yes, we don't get, yeah, rap took over, but a lot of artists have become currently now have become eclectic as to mixing, as Roman said in the comments earlier, infusing as it pertains to Kiki White, infusing country, infusing gospel, infusing jazz. You're seeing a lot of artists not being put in a
Right.
box. And that's one artist that I absolutely love, who was very, I mean, he was very direct in his music. His music also had a message. He also sung about love. Prince was genius at doing
Oh
that.
yeah.
And I say
Oh
Prince
yeah, definitely.
because Prince knew exactly what time he was going for to
Hmm.
sing about, what type of situation to sing about. As Stephanie Mills says, people, Coco Jones, Summer Walker, Money Long, Jasmine
Oh,
Sullivan,
I
incredible vocalists.
also want to
As Stephanie
mention
Mills says,
Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox.
Ari Lennox,
Yeah,
yes,
Ari Lennox. Yeah,
absolutely.
her too. Yeah, yeah,
It's neo soul. It's more so neo soul, whereas you have your Jill Scotts, you have
yeah.
your Erica Badu's, you have your Lettuces, you
Hmm.
have your Corinne Bailey Ray's. It's
Yeah.
so many
Hmm.
that Leela James, Layla Hathaway. I mean, it's so
Yes.
many that can give you that feeling of
India
good
Ari.
old, what I like to call brown liquor, deep soul, where you feel it. And Jasmine can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and India Ari as well. Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes, love her. Yes, definitely love her. So yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. For sure. Yeah.
So, do you believe that was going to be my next question for you? Do you believe that music has a healing power to heal people? Because we've seen stories where people literally would miraculously somehow wake up out of comas just from putting on a song
Hmm.
or being married. Music gives you a feeling. For you, what does music do for you? And do you believe that it has the power to heal people?
Oh, it definitely has a power to heal people. I always say music heals the soul, and it definitely has a power to heal people. What it does for me, it heals me. It makes me happy. Making music, performing makes me happy. Every time I go on that stage, it makes me happy. It's my comfort zone. And honestly, performing has gave me the confidence that I didn't have before. Because when I was growing up, when I was a child, I was very extremely painfully shy. But when I went on stage and take vocal lessons, that shyness went away. That shyness went away. And also honestly, it helped me talk to people, especially talking to people of the opposite sex, because of performing in music, I'm more confident in going up to a woman and, talking to her and conversate about whatever or saying hi to her or whatever, So music did that for me and still continues to does that for me. So yes,
Music doesn't age.
no
And I'm
doubt,
going to
no
read
doubt.
Roman's comment. I had to take that other eyelash off, honey, because it was starting to come off.
Mhm.
I had to take it off. But any 90s R&B singer can sing a gospel song and usually have one on their albums. But today's R&B singers would sound hollow trying to sing gospel. It wouldn't work. You know who I think is capable of doing that, being able to balance from both, like R&B and then do gospel? Fantasia.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
me and my
Fantasia.
girlfriend, we were having a conversation of that. When Fantasia gets on stage, she feels it. Like she will literally take her shoes off on stage
Uh-huh.
and make you get in the spirit with her. And you mentioned Aretha Franklin being one of the Queen of Soul being one of your favorites. Aretha had that same kind of feeling as
Oh
well
yeah,
too.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's music is comforting. It's healing. It makes me feel better. You know, definitely it makes me feel better. So yeah, Roman mentioned Tasia and Jennifer Hudson. You know, yeah, they can sing. They can't sing, but they can sing. They can sing. There's a difference between singing and singing, and the woman that he mentioned, they can sing for sure. Yes.
From Yeah, and then what's so crazy is Fantasia and Jennifer Hudson were both on American Idol. They both were brought up in the same
Mm-hmm.
era as far as
Mm-hmm.
music. But something happened. Of course, we know J Hud didn't win,
Yeah.
but look at her now. Look at both women now. And
Mm-hmm.
vocally, again, stage presence is perfection. And that
Yeah.
right there is a living testament that if you continue to hone in and work on your craft, and that's something that I want a lot of people who are watching us currently in this conversation, make you throw your shoe. I almost threw my
Yeah.
shoe at Legacy when I saw her on stage. That's something that Jennifer Hudson would do on when she was on The Voice. She would take her shoe off and throw it. So I mean, that's what music does. It's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's a feeling that makes you get in the spirit, and it's powerful. Music takes you to a place you've never been before, an escape you've never been before. I could put on Sade's Love Deluxe album,
Mm-hmm.
and
Classic.
that album will take me to a place, an escape I've never been before. Because she's
Mm-hmm.
so exotic, she's so mythical,
Mm-hmm.
she makes you feel the music.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and you watch the videos for the imagery, I use this expression, and it's called looking through the glass with your third eye. The glass is empty, but it's also kind of full. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is your imagination. You watch the music videos and then you listen to the lyrics. Y'all remember when we used to go and pick up the albums in the record stores? When we had record stores, now everything is being streamed where you could take out the album jacket and the lyrics would be there. You could read the lyrics off. You could listen to look at the song credits of who wrote what, who produced what, all of that, that old school feeling. Uh, they still sell albums, but everything is vinyl now. So
Mm-hmm.
music has definitely shifted and transcended to a whole nother world
Mm-hmm.
where we are now streaming. It is about the downloads. It's about this. But
Mm-hmm.
the music videos, they're already shot the classics. Uh, One thing I must say for sure is that a lot of people are remastering their music videos. I
Mm-hmm.
could go and watch a Michael Jackson video, and the video will still look the same once it came out. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that same feeling. Vinyl is definitely killing it.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I love Beyonce. I'm a big Beyonce fan.
Yeah.
When she dropped the vinyls for
Mm-hmm.
this Cowboy Carter album that she has and the
Mm-hmm.
Renaissance album, you will see the craft, the artistry that goes into it. Not just the album, but when you pull out that sleeve, when you pull the vinyl out the sleeve and everything, I want to be able to look at the credits. I want to be able to look at the imagery, the art. Now, the art correlates in with the music as well too,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a third. Uh, it's like seeing through your third eye. You never see unless you listen to the lyrics all the way and watch the video. They all come together. You are listening to that artist's story. So that's
Mm-hmm.
key. And that was going to be another question that I wanted to ask you from an artist standpoint. How important is it for imagery? How important is imagery for an artist?
Image is everything. You know, is everything. You know, first impressions is everything. You know, you got to make sure you got to look right for the consumer. You know, for the
Yeah.
audience. You know, you can't be you can't be half stepping when it comes to your image. You got to be all in or you ain't. If you're gonna be half stepping, you you shouldn't be on stage. So yes, image is everything, you know, because like they say, first impressions is everything. And that's with me, you know, like when I go on stage, I want them to have a good impression of me when I'm on that stage. And I want people to say, okay, he's a dope brother that can dress well, dress, you know, he has style, you know, first impressions is a must and imagery is a must. So you gotta look good and feel good while you're on that stage. You know what I'm saying? You can't look like you can't look crazy on stage. You can't be half stepping. No, not at all. Not at all.
When me and Ira did our conversation, we talked about Luther Vandross and
Hmm.
his professionalism and his image. and how he wanted his, even behind the scenes, we talked about how Michael Jackson and Beyonce were as well too as James Brown. They were
Mhm.
consummate professionals because they
Mhm.
studied their craft. They honed in their craft and they rehearsed. And we would see them behind the scenes rehearsing, saying, "Nope, nope, we gonna do it again, and we gonna get it right. We can do this all day before the main show. We're gonna get it right." These are
Mhm.
consummate professionals who are serious about their craft, and not only are they serious about their craft, but they are dedicated to it. I mean, you can go all the way back to Beyonce's Destiny's Child days, and you
Mhm.
will see how her parents brought her up, how her father and her mother worked with her as well too.
Mhm.
Artist development. I believe that that is currently also what's missing for a lot of artists as well too.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
nothing, you know, not hating on the artists that are coming out, but for this next generation. We're now seeing the rise of independent artists as well too. That professionalism created longevity, yeah. And look at Beyonce now; she is all over the stage, able
Mhm.
to dance, able to hone in her craft, able to give you a stellar concert and performance. Michael Jackson was the same exact way, and that's that structure, that's that discipline, that is everything that their parents taught them. SWV says these new artists aren't the artists that the aren't getting are not getting, I got tongue tied there, the artist development that they got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember Coco saying something about that in an interview about how we had to go and perform because the whole Milli Vanilli situation was going on. And I
Yeah.
remember her saying
The-
something also about them having to go perform for the record label
Mhm.
and a cappella. Make sure that you can sing. They wanted to make sure each girl in the group could sing because it was originally supposed to be four girls, but they went with three.
Oh, I
So that's how
never knew that.
SWV
Wow.
was
That's
formed.
one
Yeah.
of my favorite.
But
That's one of my favorite woman groups right there. My favorite woman group ever. SWV. Love them. Love them. The
yes,
best.
and these are girls from the New York. They would,
Mhm.
I'm a big In Vogue fan. I'm a fashion girl. And
Yeah.
you can tell In Vogue has sort of influenced some of the fashions that I wear here on the
Mhm.
show. But that that time right there was when Milli Vanilli got into that controversy. Do y'all remember Milli Vanilli? So
Yeah.
a lot
Back
of
in
artists had to make
1990.
sure you could
Mhm.
actually sing. That was
Mhm.
something that Coco was saying. So mind you, now people are getting Grammys for not singing live. Yeah, yeah. It's times have changed. The music
Mhm.
industry has definitely shifted. And it is
Yes.
so much technology now. We've got AI, so someone can easily go and use your
Mhm.
voice. Like
Mhm.
I remember, I'm a big Aaliyah fan. I love
Mhm.
Aaliyah. Uh, they are actually taking her voice, and it sounds just like her, using
Oh
her
wow.
voice
Mhm.
and putting it on other artists' songs. I'm like, okay, this is dope. And this is how it would sound if she was alive and she was here singing this artist's song. Because we see a lot of artists do artists' songs. LOLs, I was approached years ago to play in the Milli Vanilli biopic. Roman, I so could see that. Why can I not see that? Of course, the only dude who could sing in the Milli Vanilli group was the dark skinned dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fab. It was Robin Fab. Fab was the dark
Mm-hmm.
skinned one. Yeah, I heard him sing a couple of times. Yeah, he can sing for sure. Yeah, I hate that AI stuff too, Roman. I hate it. It's you can't tell what's real or what's not real. So AI is. I mean, some people use it, but it's just I don't know. You got some people you got AI imitating artists like MJ and Prince and like you said, Aaliyah, and it's pretty crazy and dangerous too. When because you can't tell what's real or what's not real.
It is so scary. It's scary now because they can easily take how we're talking now. And we
Mm-hmm.
all know I have a very distinct voice.
Mm-hmm.
They can take our voices. The same here for Dapper Cool, Malik.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they can easily take either one of our voices and use
Mm-hmm.
our voices on something else. And the actress Janet Hubert was like, protect your likeness, protect your voice. That is very key and important. And their families don't benefit off of the money made through AI. That's stealing, yeah. And that's why you see a lot of artists get in trouble for what is it, copyright and not having their masters. And they're having to go to court and pay off.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you are owning your masters. That's
Mm-hmm.
key, and that is critical as well too. Own your likeness. Nikki Gilbert from the girl group Brownstone was saying that. Own your likeness.
Mm-hmm.
T-Boss from TLC even said it. I remember Ashanti literally had to go back in the studio and re-record
Mm-hmm.
her debut album,
Yeah.
track by track. So it is
Yes.
key and critical that you own your masters. Prince was a
Mm.
genius for doing that.
Yeah.
Prince was ahead of his time. He started his own label. He's just like, I'm me signed to a label. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna
Yeah.
start my own. And
Yeah.
probably
And he wrote
has
Slave.
music in the vaults that we have no clue about.
Mm-hmm.
Paisley Park ain't playing. Just
Yeah.
like Ivy Park, not Ivy Park, Parkwood Entertainment, which is Beyonce's, they not playing either. So if you can go ahead and try to sample some of Queen B's music if you want to, or some of Prince's,
Right.
or even the Tupac estate if you
Mm-hmm.
want to go to the hip hop side,
Mm-hmm.
or the Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston estate,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have some problems. Hmm.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, Ray Charles started that Own Your Masters. I remember Sam Cooke owned his own masters
Yep.
and owned his own publishing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. Owning your destiny. For sure. Yes,
For
definitely for
actors,
sure. Mm-hmm.
Roman said for actors, contracts have small clauses. Now they're implementing to say that they can use our likeness and image with AI. Be careful what you sign. Absolutely. Read over with the fine tooth comb.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. 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 Definitely reread it. Have an entertainment lawyer right there beside you, all that. All that. You know, because there's horror stories about artists being robbed for their masters and money and whatnot, and it's very dangerous, very dangerous. And it's a shame too. It's a shame. And I know um, you mentioned In Vogue. There was a story about In Vogue being robbed of their masters, and my favorite member of the group, Dawn Robinson. She's my
My
favorite
girl,
member of the group.
I
Yeah,
interviewed her.
yeah. She posted a video about her living in her vehicle for a few years. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that was crazy. And she was my favorite. She's still my favorite in the group for sure. She's still my favorite. Still love her. I don't care what anybody says. She's dope. Yeah, she's dope. So.
I'm so glad that we're talking about contracts. We've seen what happened with TLC and how
Hmm.
they had to file bankruptcy. Andre Rison, who was dating Lisa Left Eye Lopez,
Hmm.
had to donate money to each girl in the group to help them file Chapter 11.
Hmm.
These things happen because you're in a bad record contract. You're in a
Hmm.
bad record contract. We've even seen it in films like The Five
Hmm.
Heartbeats, how they would use other artists, and I mean other artists, when it's just like, okay, other artists' likeness, but this is not me. So everything the TLC was saying about, you know, making sure that you read over your contracts. There's programs out here that can help you. There's Unsung, there's Behind the Music. There are so many out here that can help you if you were looking to get into the music business. Understand the business.
Hmm.
This is what I've learned from reading, doing research, and this is coming from me as a host of a platform and being able to sit with music artists such as yourself, Dapper Cool, and Ira, and so many others. It is key and critical. Dawn wasn't lying. T-Boz, TLC, the women of TLC, they're not lying about
Hmm.
being in having bad contracts or taking a bad record deal. Trust me, they're not. Read over everything with a fine tooth comb. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen what happened. I'm a big Meg Thee Stallion fan. I'm a hottie. Yes, yes. And we've seen how she's signed with Rock Nation, but she still has her own independent control over what she wants, singles she wants to come out, whatever
Hmm.
music videos she wants to put out.
Hmm.
That's the type of deals that we need to be shopping around for if you're in the music business. Those only come once in a lifetime. So my thing is this: with the next generation of independent artists, keep creating, keep honing into your craft. And there's another male vocalist out here by the name of Vontae, who I've had the
Hmm.
pleasure of interviewing. I just seen recently was it not too long ago? Timberland, who's worked with Missy, who's worked with Aaliyah, they went live together, and he said, work with artists in your area, network with artists in your area. Make sure that you are networking with other artists as well too. That is key. That is critical in this business.
Right.
That you network with other artists and link up. So one thing I can commend Ira for is networking with other artists.
Yes.
And at the time, how we came to met was through Ira. I said, Ira, send me some artists to interview. I was going desperate. I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I had a lineup set and everything. I said, Ira, shoot me some artists to interview. And Datification is going to be joining me tomorrow. And we have a beautiful young lady who's going to be joining me next month in June. And she's also a part of the team. But I wanted Black artists. I wanted specifically Black artists because I know how the business and the industry is, whether it may be the acting side or whether it be the music side. We have to make sure that we are advocating for Black voices in the
Right.
music industry because that is key and that's crucial.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. You know, it's very important for us to come together and own your masters, own your destiny, your publishing, everything, you know, own it, you know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody convince you otherwise and read contracts, reread it for the second time, third time, fourth time, as many times as you want to understand it. Also ask questions about the contract, you know, always ask questions, you know, for sure. You know, if you don't understand something, you should ask. And if you don't agree with it, then, you know, don't sign it, you know, because if you're not feeling it, you shouldn't sign it. But yeah, ask questions, you know, just know what you're getting yourself into. That's the best thing I can say. Know what you're getting yourself into before you sign a contract or, you know, before you read it or whatnot. You know what you're getting yourself into. And if you want it, fine. If you don't, then that's fine too. But know what you're getting yourself into for sure.
Absolutely. And that would be my advice to anybody who's looking to get into the business. Make sure that you know what you're jumping into and not getting a bad end of the deal because there's so many artists. We see it on Behind the Music and then we watch what's the name of the show? Where Are They Now? And we find out from these artists years later what happened that ended their careers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because they got into a bad record deal.
Mm-hmm.
The girl group Allure, and I feel like Allure doesn't get enough credit. We give so many credits to other groups like you said, SWV, In Vogue, TLC, but Allure was one of those girl groups. Their record label, they had to go and shop around for deals as well too. And ask questions. Ask questions about your contract. If you know something doesn't seem right, get a lawyer, get everybody to proofread it, and if they find that one, that's not the one for you. Find something that works for you that you feel and your heart is right. Because some of these contracts can sound too good to be true.
Oh
So,
yeah, Jade. Yeah.
yep, Jade
Mm-hmm.
and so many other artists, and we
Mm-hmm.
hear them come out and tell their stories years later of how the record company closed down with the Lord. That was the case for them because they were signed to a label, and I can't remember the name of that label per se, but they had to.
I think they were signed to Mariah Carey's label.
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah,
I think
and I don't think
I
Mariah.
forgot the name of it. I
Yeah, I
forgot the name of the label, but they were signed to her, I believe.
I think it was Crave. Was it Crave
Yeah,
Records?
Crave.
If I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
that was it. Yeah, Crave.
Yeah,
Crave.
Crave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Yeah.
Mariah has it anymore. I don't think she has it
No.
anymore. I don't think she has that label. It's no longer.
Right.
So they had to go and shop around at other record labels.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Crave Records
Mm-hmm.
with the K. That's it. See, I told y'all I do my homework. I study because I had that album when their album came out when they were all dressed in the black, looking beautiful as ever.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, okay, that album should have sold a lot of copies. It's out here.
Right.
People are now streaming. They're not going to the record store.
Mm-hmm.
So shout outs to the lovely ladies of Allure. Shout outs to the lovely ladies of Jade.
Yeah.
Um, every girl group. We're now speaking of groups. There's now more male groups starting to emerge as well too. We know about New Edition. We know about Boys to Men, and so many others. But there's now a group called 2BYG. And then Wanye's group for Wanye's son.
Yeah,
Wanye, Boys to
one
Men,
more.
his
Yeah.
sons. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
these young men that are coming out, again, when we talk about stagecraft, they study the greats. So when
Mm-hmm.
you see artists that are coming out, they study, they observe. I'll give you an example. Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy. You see her on tour. She's not singing, but she's dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and you watch some of Beyonce's music videos, same exact moves. So she
Mm-hmm.
studies her mom. She studies
Mm-hmm.
her craft. And that's what we're seeing with this next generation of artists that are coming out, young artists that are coming out right now. Yes, Juan Moore and Mary J.
Mm-hmm.
Blige worked with them. They had the honor of
Yeah.
being able to work with Mary J. Blige
Mm-hmm.
to do a cover for, I think it was a Tevin Campbell song.
I
So
believe. Yeah, I believe so. Yes. Yes.
yeah. So shout outs to the next generation of talent that is coming out that is kicking down these doors. We need more of that. Candy from Escape has a girl group called Siren, and that's Siren with the P. The P is silent. So beautiful young ladies, and they can sing their faces off. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're seeing more and more groups start to emerge. That is the song. Tevin Campbell's
Mm-hmm.
along with you, and they did a cover for it. Mary was working right there in the studio with them to do that cover as well too, directing them and everything. So you got to study those greats. 2BYG is another group that study the greats, and they do covers as well too.
Yeah.
Groups need to come back.
Yeah. Most
Um,
definitely. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. They not
yeah, we're seeing some
existing.
groups,
Mm-hmm.
new faces emerge, but the
Mm-hmm.
grip En Vogue is still touring,
Yeah.
TLC still touring,
Yeah.
Total still touring,
Mm-hmm.
702 still touring.
Yeah.
And it can be without a member, without losing a member, they're still keeping that show going.
Yeah.
New Edition is still touring. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All the greats. SWV, Shy, Silk.
touring.
They
Yep.
still touring. They still touring. Yes. Yes. Good music will never die.
People
Never
say
die.
R&B is dead. That's why I started off our conversation with that
Mm-hmm.
question about is R&B dead? It's not dead. It's just the next generation finding their own style and craft, because you don't want to be like Patty. You don't want to steal Patty's formula. You don't want to steal Aretha's formula. It's okay to idolize these women, but find your lane.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
if your voice is similar in a way, then yeah, you'll be compared to them. But
Mm-hmm.
find your lane. Find your lane. And as artists, as creatives, you have to find a lane that works for you. So you know who you are individually, and that person knows who they are as well too. Again,
Absolutely.
identity. There's a lot of that in this business. There's a singer by the name of Duran Bernard,
Okay.
and they compare him to Prince. I totally can see that with the
Mm-hmm.
whole fashion, his whole everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Prince was adventurous. There's one performance where Prince, Michael Jackson, and James Brown, and I think I told Ira about this performance as well too. Go out there somewhere in the YouTubeverse
Oh yeah, I
where
seen that one.
Prince
I seen
got
that.
on stage.
Uh-huh.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay. You know what Prince did?
Mm-hmm.
Baby, Prince got up there on top of the light fixture. I mean, he was dancing. He was sliding all over the stage, moonwalking, everything, took his shirt off. I mean, he was so adventurous on
Mm-hmm.
stage. He came to life. That was his alley.
Right.
And he got on top of the light fixture, and the light fixture leaned over in the audience. They was like, "Oh, we ain't
Mm-hmm.
worried about that. We gonna catch him." Prince kept going. That's what it's about. That is craft. That is creativity. That is vision. When you are dedicated to your work.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? I have to check him out. Uh, Duran Bernard. Yes, Duran Bernard. And when I tell you, he is like everything about him reminds you of Prince.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many artists out here that also remind us or give us that feeling of Prince. So it's like his legacy, Prince hasn't left us. He's still here. He's influenced and impacted
Mm-hmm.
so many other male artists as well too. And I must say Miguel is one of those artists.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Another that I
Miguel.
would say would be was another male artist that can go up there in that range. Luke James,
Yeah.
in a way. is another
Blue
artist
James.
that can give you
Mm-hmm.
that feeling of Prince. Of course, Lenny Kravitz, that's a no-brainer. But it's another generation of artists that are coming out that have been influenced by Prince, that
Mm-hmm.
have been influenced by the likes of Luther, that have been
Mm-hmm.
influenced by the Smokey
Mm-hmm.
Robinsons, that have been influenced by the Keith Sweats of the world. Bilal
Bilal.
is another
Bilal.
one. Yes, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Bilal doesn't get his just due. Eric Benet
Right.
is another that
Mm-hmm.
they give you that feeling of Prince because Prince was able to again go up there that falsetto range.
Mm-hmm. Maxwell.
Oh yeah,
Maxwell. Yeah,
for sure.
Maxwell. He can go up there. Yes. Yes, all of them. Yes.
And hasn't stopped touring because I know you guys want to know, has he stopped? No. No, a lot of these artists are coming back. You're seeing
Mm-hmm.
them join on tour together.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha Cole, A. Marie,
Mm-hmm.
Ira, and I think it was Roman, they mentioned Money Long earlier. They're going on tour together.
Mm-hmm.
So Monica, Brandy, and Money Long are going on tour. So we're seeing
Yes.
the next generation of artists that are coming out that have been influenced by these artists of our time. So that's what we're seeing.
Yes.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Now, your single is called "Call Me."
Mm-hmm.
Before we wrap, we it's almost 4 o'clock. I don't have another show today, but this has been such a great conversation about music, and I hope a lot of you take something away from this because we're seeing so many artists come out and deliver the things that we want. Music is for the soul for each and every one of us, and it helps us get us through our day, whether it's through our activism, whether it's to they say breakfast is the food of champs.
Mm-hmm.
Music for me is like the breakfast. I can't start my day without putting on a Sade record. If
Mm-hmm.
not a Sade record, then a Phyllis Hyman record. If not a Phyllis Hyman record, then a something sensual from Janet because I
Mm-hmm.
feel in the Velvet Rope era.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when, or the Janet era when she came out and she just,
Mm-hmm.
this was her becoming a woman. This was
Right.
her uh, giving you something grown and sexy. So music evolves over time. So to go back to what Dapper Cool asked about, we don't sing about love and romance. A lot of artists do it in their own way, or there
Right.
wasn't enough ballads. At that time, it was a lot of ballads out. From the
Mm-hmm.
80s to the 90s, you see a lot of ballads. You can go all the way back to the 70s as well, too, and even further. Love songs, ballads,
Mm-hmm.
romance.
Mm-hmm.
But I must also say this too, lyrics make you think.
Yes.
It's a play on words. So you go back and you listen to a song and you say in the back of your mind, did this artist mean to say this
Mm-hmm.
way? It's a no-brainer. It's like a tongue-in-cheek thing. Certain songs we would go back and listen to and think, like, whoa, I didn't know you meant it that way, but I know you meant it that way. So they give you a little bit of the illusion of that feeling. Whereas now, as far as sexuality and music is out there, is in
Mm-hmm.
your face. It's
Mm-hmm.
in your face. It's blunt. It's direct. Whereas back in the day, um, Johnny Gill and my would say, "Put on your red dress" and all of
Mm-hmm.
these things, and it was romantic. Not only was it romantic, but it was sensual. And I asked 112 that question when I interviewed them. I said, "What do you think about the new generation of artists that are coming out as far as sex and intimacy and music?" And I said, when y'all did Anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
y'all went from the stairs to the rooftop to here, there,
To
and
the
all the
shower.
place. We were laughing about it.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of artists now where it's just direct. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It was tongue in cheek. They would let you know, like, hey, this is what I want as far as love is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want as far as romance. So it was all of these different things that we are looking for in our music.
Mm-hmm.
And as a consumer, we looking to listen to the message overall. Uh, and make it plain, or as we would say, put it on wax. And
Mm-hmm.
these artists have done that. So
Yeah.
that was going to be another question that I wanted to ask you. How
Okay.
important is lyrical meaning in the music? Like,
Very,
okay,
very important.
TLC, they sung about having safe sex. And they
Yeah.
did it in a way where it was fun, it was funky, and they got the message across to young people.
Yeah.
How important is lyrical imagery in music?
Very important because you want to have lyrics that people can relate to or what they're going through. You know, like TLC Waterfalls.
Oh yeah.
Everybody can relate to that song. You know, it's the dangers of AIDS and all that. You know, the parallels of AIDS and all that. You know, so yeah, lyrical imagery is very important. You want to have lyrics for people to listen to and to relate to. Like, hey, you know, they could be like the consumer can be listening to it. They could be chilling in their car or at a store, and they can think about the lyrics and at a time and place where they say, hey, I remember that. You know, they talking about me. You know, you want to have lyrics that are relatable to the consumer. You know, so lyrical imagery is very important. 100% for sure.
Absolutely. And going back to Waterfalls, the meaning of that song overall, I think, and this is just my opinion, it
Hmm.
means everything that glitters isn't gold.
Right.
You're going for something, you're looking for something, but what you're
Hmm.
going to look for is trouble. And
Right.
the end result is not a result of what you want. It can be fatal. The consequence of what you're looking for can be fatal because it
Hmm.
was three different messages in that video if you go back and watch that video. But it's
Hmm.
just like at the end of the day, it's making me open my mind to see that I don't need to do this. Peer pressure. So
Hmm.
music has meaning, and through the lyrics, if you listen carefully through each of them, you'll find
Hmm.
that meaning. There's a hidden message in everything. So
Absolutely.
def-
Absolutely.
now, speaking of singles, you have a single out right now. Call Me. So tell us a little bit about that. What was it like uh, in the studio? What was the studio session like recording this single?
It was great. It was great. You know, it was great vibes. I was nervous at first, of course. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but when I listened to the rough cut of it, the demo, and then when I listened to it when it was mixed and mastered, I said to myself, "Oh yeah, yeah, this song is definitely up my alley." So, yeah, I had a great time recording that song for sure. Absolutely, yes.
Again, that powerful message of romance, that feeling, it hasn't left. As Ira said earlier, is R&B then? No, it's not. What we're seeing right now is a rebirth because you have the next generation, as we mentioned, the Ari Lennox, we
Hmm.
have Coco Jones, we have Duran Bernard, we have Avery Wilson, we
Hmm.
have who's another? Of course, Jasmine, Elle Varner. It's LMI. It's so many that are coming out right now after the Whitneys, the Mariahs, the
Hmm.
Shakas, the Pattys, the Marys, the
Hmm.
Smokies,
Hmm.
and so many others. We're now
Hmm.
seeing the next generation of artists come out, and that's
Yeah.
what's key and critical and important.
Yes.
All right, fashion dolls. Before we wrap, because this was such a great conversation, thank you, Ira, and thank you for connecting us in this great conversation. Even T.I.'s son, yes, let me tap on him for a little bit. What I love about him is he gives you that old school, you know how they would say, let's go to the juke joint.
Hmm.
That's brown liquor music. That's that type of music. That's the type of music that his son, Buddy Red, does.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people like that type of music. Um, if you like Roy C, you know that old school blues feeling.
Hmm.
That's what he gives you, but it's also R&B. So again, that label thing, Prince was genius at that because I don't believe that a lot of artists like to be put in a box. They don't
Right.
like to just be in one category or lane of music, as we discussed earlier.
Right.
And you see their how can I say their categories of music shift each album. Like your sophomore album is not going to be like your uh your debut album. The sound is going to be a little different, and it'll
Hmm.
kind of throw your audience for a loop because it's like we was expecting, some romance songs or some R&B songs, but you could give a blend of R&B and pop. You could give a blend of techno, pop,
Hmm.
or jazz. So I mean, it's different categories that you could blend and infuse. It's like a gumbo. Music is like a gumbo because you
Hmm.
can't have your second album. That's just like me with me hosting this platform every season that I've done. every interview that I've done, my look has changed throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to be consecutive with that. Artists are the same way. So when their sound changes, the aesthetic or the feeling changes. And I can
Mm-hmm.
give you several examples. Um, I love Janet. Janet just got her AMA award. When
Mm-hmm.
she first came out, she gave you, what was it, the album launching us to the world,
Mm-hmm.
launching her to the world, herself to the world. She was Michael's little sister, and that's what people kept referring to her as, even in interviews. And she was like, I want to find my own identity. And then what happened? Boom, Control. Boom, Rhythm Nation. The sound was different. Then
Mm-hmm.
what happened after those two albums? Uh, Janet, when she unveiled, shelled, and became a woman, and the sound was different. It was more sensual. Um,
Right.
Design of a Decade, Greatest Hits. Then boom, Velvet Rope.
Mm-hmm.
Again, still in tune with her sexuality as a woman, finding herself in her identity. And if you look at the Janet album, it just says Janet, period. Because she didn't really she wanted to drop the last name. She wanted to get it on her own. So again, it goes to show you that when it comes to artist crafting and development,
Mm-hmm.
each album that you see, the artist's sound is going to sound different. Mary J.
Mm-hmm.
Blige, when she first came out, what was the first album? She was still in her tomboy
Mm-hmm.
fashion era, if you want to go to the fashion aspect of it. But
Mm-hmm.
we see the shift from
Mm-hmm.
each album. The sound is
Yes.
different. It's still
Absolutely.
romance, but she was
Yes.
feeling more things. The first album made you have a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Second album made you had a feeling, but it was deeper. It was getting into her mind because she was talking about my life. The
Mm-hmm.
album is titled My Life.
Mm-hmm.
And then after my life, what happened? Share My World. She's still in that era where it's like, I'm finding me, I'm discovering me, I'm finding love, I want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes to the Mary album. It's like at one point in my life, I'm at peace. And then after the Mary album, what comes next? No more drama. I'm saying again about my life and all of the pain that I've been through. So
Mm-hmm.
you see that shift. Each album that I just named, if you go through category, go to their discography and listen to
Mm-hmm.
each album, you see their sound. Same with Escape, tomboys to sexy, mature women. That
And
makes it
TLC
sound
and
hot.
and
Yeah, and
TLC.
Notorious B.I.G. May God bless his soul. He teased them. He made fun of them, but he apologized to them. Then he was like, "Y'all are beautiful." When he saw
Same
them
with
at an
TLC.
event,
Same with
yeah,
TLC. They had that tomboy look, and when they came out with Crazy, Sexy, Cool, they had a new image. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, yes.
sensual,
Mm-hmm.
sensual. They're women. The
Mm-hmm.
same when they came out with the fan mail album. When you're working with
Mm-hmm.
women, our looks are not going to stay the same. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
different. Even when I started this platform, for me, it was like what I'm wearing today. It was off the shoulder. It was pants. It was this. It was that, and the third and the other. But I'm just like, I'm evolving. The
Mm-hmm.
seasons are evolving. So my look needs to change. My attitude and mantra needs to change on things. So artist development, when you're crafting and you're developing, your sound change, your looks change, and it kind of throws people for a loop. You can't stay the same way you were forever. When TLC came out, like you just said, they were tomboys, they were goofy, the condoms over the eyes and things.
Mm-hmm.
But that became a style statement alone because of the messaging in their music. And then they still they said we weren't really into dresses. SWV said we were girls from New York, from the hood, from
Mm-hmm.
New York, up, up there on Fifth Ave. We're
Mm-hmm.
we're not looking to be like In Vogue with the gowns. I think Coco said something. We're not, because In Vogue, they came out, it was the little black dresses. And they were more so, they modeled themselves after, how can I
Mm-hmm.
say it? Runway models. The group was
Mm-hmm.
originally titled to be named Vogue, but Vogue was already taken. That's what Cindy just said in the most recent interview.
Yeah.
And so they put I in, but they said, you know what? Scratch that. Let's do E in. And in Vogue means in style, because
Mm-hmm.
styles, fashions always change. Your sound will change, and that will attract people. So
Mm-hmm.
as an artist development, artist standpoint, I can totally relate to that, because people are gonna want something different. That's why they wasn't expecting Beyonce, our girl, to give us a country album. The first album is just like, you want her to keep singing about dangerously in love, but she wants to do something different. You got to go
Mm-hmm.
to the beat of your own drum. You can't listen to the audience. The audience can either love it or hate it,
Right.
but you just keep going till you give the audience something that they love. Yep. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yes. So before we wrap Dapper Cool, what are some gems that you would give to artists as that are coming up, that are following in your footsteps, that are following in Ira's footsteps? What are some advice that you would give to them? Because we covered a number of things in this conversation,
Mm.
from
Excuse me.
artist development
Yeah.
to honing in on your craft. What advice would you give to artists?
Stay true to yourself and stay true to your craft. Never compromise your integrity for no one. Never sell out. You know, be a leader, not a follower. Be supportive of other artists. I'm a huge supporter of other artists. If anybody that knows me on a personal level, they know I'm one of the most supportive artists that supports other artists. So yeah, just stay true to yourself. Never compromise your integrity. Never sell out. Be supportive of other artists. And just be the best artist that you can be.
And find your own identity. Originality is key.
Hmm.
So be authentic to you and find your own identity in
Hmm.
your lane as an
Yes.
artist. And that is from the artist's standpoint.
Yeah.
So, Fashion Dolls, before we conclude, I'm going to give you guys the final thought of the day, which is, give me the wisdom to know what must be done and the courage to do it. Stepping out on faith as an artist can be scary, but you can't fear it. You can't fear it. You got to change. You got to do something different, because, again, the audience is wanting something different. They're tired of seeing the same old thing or hearing the same old thing. So you have to make sure that your sound is different and that it
Hmm.
resonates with the people in some sort of way.
Hmm.
So just wanted
Yes.
to leave you with that, Fashion Dolls. Joining me tomorrow, we have Daddification and Ronson Hawkins. The
Yeah.
single is titled Call Me, and it is out on all platforms. Dapper Cool,
Yes.
I had such a great time, and let everyone know where they can follow you and catch you and check you
They
out.
can, they can follow me on here, Instagram, Cool Malik82, Facebook, Malik Long. I have a podcast called The Cool Podcast with the Cool Brother. Also, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, just hit me up. Also, I want to give a shout out to my MDMA family members, Ira Soul, D-Dification, Lissa, KG Universe, Michelle, aka Make It Make Sense, P. Michelle, aka Boss Lady. I want to give a shout out to my mentor, Mr. AJ, Triple Crown Artistry, and I want to give a shout out to you as well. Thank you for having me, and the pleasure is all mine.
Absolutely. I had such an amazing time. This interview will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime. We are back, Fashion Dolls, and we will be back in June with more episodes as well too. I will see y'all tomorrow. We're back, Fashion Dolls. Take care, everyone.